Recording.
Does being an outdoorsman require a southern drawl, driving a jacked up truck, wearing camo everywhere you go, and having a long beard? Well, as an outdoorsman who drives a muscle car and refuses to wear camo anywhere in public, let me tell you why I think that's false. There's such a negative stigma that arises when you bring up someone who spends all their time outdoors in the woods, hunting, fishing, camping, and all sorts of that. I'm going to provide you with 3 reasons why being an outdoorsman should have a positive stigma and not a negative stigma. First, you have an abundant supply of preservative-free foods. Second, you're helping the ecosystem. And third, you'll be able to learn a good amount of skills on surviving in a primal environment. First, I would like to tell you about having an abundant supply of fresh preservative-free food. When it comes to hunting or fishing, if you go out and have a successful trip at the woods, the lake, the rivers, or the ocean, chances are you'll have a vast number of different species to come and stock your fridge and freezer with when you return home. The meat, however, unlike most meats that you find in the supermarket, are fresh and natural and not filled with many different preservatives that are used to keep shelf life and give it color. You can also save your more money by doing what me and my wife do, by grinding your own meat. And as Catherine Vera of Livestrong.com says, preservatives are chemicals used to keep food fresh, although there are a different number of types of food preservatives, antimicrobials, antioxidants that slow the natural ripening process are some of the most common. Despite their important function, preservatives can pose a number of serious health threats, such as increased risk of cancer, hyperactivity in children, and reduced heart health. Secondly, I would like to tell you about boosting the ecosystem. Imagine a world where one major predator was removed from the deer population, just the deer population. The world would be littered with deer, where you wouldn't be able to drive down the interstate without having to dodge one along every few feet. By the removal of a major predator like ourselves, this is a very realistic possible outcome, and one that the world would suffer to see. Let's push this hypothetical situation out of the way and look at the current facts of the hunting, trapping, and fishing have on the ecosystem. According to Whit Gibbons of the Savannah River Ecology Laboratory on archivescellUGA.edu, who says, hunting is good for the environment because the hunting community ensures that wildlife populations of game species are sustainable from one generation to the next. This requires that a diversity of natural habitats be kept intact, unpolluted, and undisturbed. Hunters support all these efforts. The taxes from hunting activities go to the states or to the federal government for such purposes as enhancing wildlife habitat, managing and maintaining parks and wildlife refuges, and conducting surveys and research to determine the status of not only game, but also some non-game species. So hunters contribute in a big way to benefiting natural environments. Keeping our wild habitats are undamaged, clean, and natural as possible is a key aspect of having settled places to hunt. But hunters are not the only ones seeking such habitats. Ecologists depend on them for research. Hikers, bird watching, and wildflower viewers all prefer habitats that are uncontaminated and full of all wildlife things. Lastly, I would like to tell you about surviving in a primal environment. There are so many skills when you like to spend your time in the outdoors rather than just being cooped up all day long. Whether you are hunting, camping, or fishing, there's many different skills that you can acquire, such as learning how to build a fire, or skin a deer, or scale a fish. You'll be able to keep yourself full off the meat that you require in the wild for days, and you'll be able to boil your own water to purify it from a river, ocean, stream, or wherever contaminated water may be. And when you find yourself in the situation where you need these skills, you'll be thankful that you've learned them. In summary, I've informed you about having an abundant amount of preservative-free meats, about the help hunting and fishing and trapping have on the ecosystem, and about learning skills in a primal environment. I truly hope the information that I have bestowed upon you will push you next time you see a picture on Facebook of someone with a deer they just killed or the fish that they just caught, not to be negative, but maybe even thank them.